Right now we are 56. So I'm waiting for like at least 2 classes, 60. But anyway, it's getting late, so we will start even without the others. Okay, you're supposed to be 90 in here, but some of you have emailed me and told me that they have Saturday classes, so some will come in late. Okay. Anyway, 56 is good. That's more than 50% of those who have taken the diagnostic test. There's a total of 84 people who have taken the diagnostic tests. I don't know about the other 6 students, why they were not available or why they are not able to accomplish the test. Let me just check. Can you guys see the logo? Anyone? Hello?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
very
po,
good.
sir. Yes, po.
Thank you for your responses. All right, so we will now begin again, guys, this will be a marathon review of the English diagnostic test. It's 100 questions. And it's sort of represent what you will encounter in the real college entrance test. I have good news and bad news. What do you want to hear first? The good news or the bad news?
They're bad.
Bad news.
The bad news is the passing grade is 85. Okay, and your mean score is 66. So those are, failing grades in English. Now, the good news is that in order to challenge you, when I made the test, I have 50% of the questions there are college level. Okay, meaning if you're able to handle the senior high school level questions, that means that you're good to go. Okay, I sort of gave you some hard questions in order to challenge you, so that you will not, become complacent, being overconfident, thinking that, I can answer the test, then I'm good to go for CET. Okay, so I want you to be on the cautious side when it comes to your review. Okay, so this is the diagnostic test, and we will review the answers one by one. Okay, I hope you're ready, guys. I hope you come prepared with your food, because this is going to be a very long discussion. Imagine it's 100 questions that we will discuss one by one. Okay, I know for some of you, you already know the answer, but I will still discuss the question and the answer, so that we will not assume that everyone gets it already. Okay, so for now we will assume that we don't know the answer yet to the questions. Okay, let's start with, all right, so we will start with the first question that I have written. I don't know if when the question was thrown at you, it's in the same order, or they sort of Google Forms, they sometimes jumble the questions, but I hope they gave you the answer in proper order, especially the section on comprehension. The first question on the section of comprehension contains the passage that you need to read. Okay, we just okay, someone said she may go out. Yes, you may. Okay, again, we have already covered most of the lessons. These are just reviewing the answers. But there are some questions that I focused on. I have some, included some slides for you to, just to remind you of the lessons that we had before. Although you can review the lessons that we had because it's uploaded in YouTube. But for fast recall, I will discuss some pointers in relation to the questions that we are discussing. All right. So let's start with the first question. The sinuous road to Baguio curved dangerously up the mountain. Okay, this is a question of meaning. Okay, synonyms. What is the word in parentheses mean? And for some of you who are wide readers, you will know this word right away. But for some who, especially today, we are already fond of just watching YouTube, chatting in Facebook. You will not be familiar with these words because you can only find this in novels, especially if you love reading long novels. And this might become unfamiliar. And when I first encountered this as well, I don't know what it means, right? But I'm going to give you a good tip that I've been doing since high school when I took the entrance exam to Philippine Science High School, when I took the entrance exam to UP. Whenever I encounter a word that I have no idea what it means, I just look at the rest of the sentence, because at the rest of the sentence, sometimes it will give you an idea of what that word really means. Okay, so here, if you will say the road to Baguio is curved dangerously up the mountain, then you can already eliminate two of the choices. Okay, one is Baguio is a tourist spot, so it will not be a rough road, right? It's going to be developed, right? That will be your first clue. So you can eliminate the option rough. Okay, although one answered it. I cannot see the student who answered. I also cannot see the name of the student who failed. Okay, so again, do not worry about me knowing that you made a stupid answer to a question. Okay, probably he answered rough because he or she has no idea what sinews mean. Okay, it's like, chamba, and it so happens that chamba is not correct. And if you may say it's concrete, okay, then it will not contribute to the meaning of dangerous that you will see in the sentence, right? If it's concrete, then probably it's a lot safer. So you will be left with two answers. What makes the road to Baguio dangerous is a mountain, so it's steep. Okay, paahon. Okay, paahon. Or it could also be blind curves, right? See? So you will have two choices, and I see here that 32 of the respondents chose steep. Okay, because it sounds like sinuous, right? But when looking for clues, examiners will give you that, give you choices that will throw you off the track. Okay, so let's try using the getting context clues. This is what I mean when I'm taking tests and I'm in the synonyms and antonyms part. I would say 70% of the words that I saw on the tests, I have no idea what they mean. Okay, and I even wonder where, from what book are the examiners getting those words, because I'm when I'm your age, I'm a wide reader. I read a lot of English books. That's why I was able to build my vocabulary. But during the entrance tests, 70% of the word is alien to me. Okay, so this is the thing that I use. I just get the meaning or the context clues that will suggest the meaning of the word in question. So getting the meaning of the context clues, basically, you do not need to go and get a dictionary right away. Okay. First, try to refer to the meaning of the word by reading the entire sentence and how that word is used. Okay. So in our sentence, sinuous is describing a road. Okay, and it could only be winding. Okay, something like that, or it could be steep. Next, the word may be followed by a synonym, or meaning the word is already defined in the sentence. Remember our discussion on appositives? Sometimes we introduce a subject and then we further define the subject by using appositive. And sometimes it will also happen in the sentence. So if you will go back to the sentence, you will see here, curved dangerously up the mountain. Okay, so you will see the synonym there, which is curved. Okay, so when you say steep, although it's also dangerous, but steep can be a straight, straight uphill, but it's not curved, right? So you can deduct from that the correct answer is winding. Okay, so that's how I was able to when I saw this on a reviewer, I have no idea what sinuous is. Okay, but I was able to answer correctly just by looking at the rest of the sentence. So again, here are some examples of getting context clues. Explain what you mean. Your statement is ambiguous. So if the statement is ambiguous and it means it's clear, then this sentence will not make sense. Explain what you mean. Why do I have to explain it further when it is already clear? So that means that ambiguous is not clear. So here I can deduct the meaning of ambiguous by just looking at the first sentence. Explain what you mean. Same with the second sentence. You tell his innate characteristics, not the acquired ones. So if I'm not to tell the acquired ones, then the characteristics that he or she must be talking about is something that he or she was born with, right? So innate then would probably mean native to the person in question. Okay, so he or she was born with that characteristics. So that will be the meaning of innate. So going back to our word, which is sinuous. So again, context is, and then you answer steep. But again, it has a connotation with, which is snake. Okay, and when it's a snake, it's winding. Okay, so the best answer, or the correct answer to question number 1 is winding road. That is what is meant by sinuous road. Okay, again, guys, do not panic during your exam when you encounter a word that you have no idea what the hell does that mean. Then don't panic. What you need to do is to relax, focus, and read the entire sentence again, because the answer is there. Okay, there are contexts there. Sometimes it's explained, sometimes it's in the sound, because some of the English language, they are formed based on sound. Okay, we call that the onomatopoeia. Okay, so sometimes the sound will also give you a clue. Let's go for the next question. After hiking for 3 hours up the steep slope of Mount Apo, we find a spring where we are able to slake our thirst. So what does slake means? Again, honestly, I don't know slake. I've never read a novel with that word before. Okay, but I know quench your thirst. Okay, so I answer right away quench, and majority of you answered also quench, because quench will pair with water or liquid going down your throat. Okay, that's why it's associated with drinking. But some of you answered satisfy, so that's 19 students, and it might make sense, because another thing that I do when I'm not familiar with the word and I have choices, I would substitute my choice to the sentence, and if it sounds meaningful, then it's probably correct. So probably those who answered satisfy have done that, like substituted. So it will read, after hiking for 3 hours up the steep slope of Mount Apo, we find a spring where we are able to satisfy our thirst. It makes sense also, okay? But again, the test is based on the English language and grammar and their proper use of words. So it may be okay to us Filipinos because we're speaking English as a second language, but to Americans, they only associate the verb satisfy with food. Like you satisfy your cravings for food, you satisfy your sweet tooth for cakes. But when it comes to liquid, again, English use the verb quench. Okay, so they may be two possible answers, and both of them are good. But my tip is you have to select the better answer. Okay, satisfy may be acceptable, but there is still a better word that denotes satisfying your thirst for water, and that is the word quench. Okay. Right. Next question. The fact that it is a blind curve mitigated the driver's accountability for the accident that happened. For me, it's a familiar word, mitigated, because whenever you watch TV, especially if it's a crime story, you often hear the mitigating circumstances. So those are what the criminals would say, mitigating circumstances. That's why they kill a person, because they found out that he is going out on a date with his wife. So that's a mitigating circumstance. So I know right away that it's sort of, it will lessen the guilt that you have when it refers to a crime. Okay, so here in the sentence, the fact that it is a blind curve mitigated the driver's accountability for the accident that happened. If you're not familiar with the word mitigated, you can imagine what will be a blind curve due to the driver's accountability, right? Because the driver could say, I'm not able to see the other car because it's a blind curve, right? So if that blind curve can take the blame in place of the driver, then it will probably alleviate the accountability of the driver. Okay, so that's how you attach meaning to a word that you are not very familiar with. And I am happy to see that a majority of you, 48, was able to choose correctly. There are some who choose aggravate, 11 students. So probably they think that the blind curve helped in the accident. Probably that's what they are meaning to say. But they may not have noticed the word here, accountability. We're not talking about the likelihood of an accident happening. Of course, a blind curve will aggravate. It will make accident, more likely to happen. But in this sentence, we're not talking about the aggravating of accidents, but we are talking about, again, you have to be very focused. You have to sense that we are talking about the accountability, okay? And in this sense, if the driver can blame the accident to something else, then his or her accountability will be, okay? There you go. See, if it's a blind curve, and you're here on the upper part, you cannot see the other car coming in the opposite direction. Okay, so you will be less accountable because of that. Sometimes you can even blame the government for not installing, proper safety measures on that road, because in other countries, when they have a blind curve like that, they install mirrors. Okay, so they will sort of put a mirror in this position, or I'm sorry, in right in the, what they call this, the center of the curve, so that each driver can see the reflection of the vehicle that's coming from the opposite direction. Okay. So again, that's a mitigating circumstances for you guys. Now let's go to the next question. Joseph's mundane tasks in the department mean it will take years for him to be considered for promotion. So if it's gonna take years for you to advance, then that job or task you're doing is probably, not very exciting or not very important. Okay. If you're on the decision level and you make great decisions that help in making the company increase their profit, then you will get promoted right away. Okay, but if you are just there delivering messages between departments, then that's what we call tasks that will take you, years to be even considered for promotion. Okay, so the answer here, based on the rest of the sentence, mundane means menial. Things that are not very important, although they are part of how a company will function, but you're not part of that team who are critical to the company's operation. Okay, so that's what we mean by menial. It's not difficult. You might think that Joseph will not get promoted because of a difficult assignment. I will tell you guys, especially for if you're a policeman or a soldier, if you got a difficult assignment and you're able to perform it successfully, you get an instant promotion, the on-the-spot promotion. It is also not heavenly, nor is it meticulous. Okay, those are maybe they're related, but not a very good meaning for the word mundane. Okay, so let's move on to the next. Anyway, guys, if you have any confusion, you may unmute and then ask me, because remember, we have all the time in the world here. I combined the time I have for 3 classes, so we can have a little bit of discussion. Okay. Unlike before where, we have to crunch several modules in a 2-hour session. But here, if you have any confusion with the questions that we're discussing, then you can give us some feedback. Okay, so this is a mundane job, just encoding. Okay, so you look at a hard copy of a long list of names, and you will have to enter them into the computer. So that's menial or mundane tasks. Again, guys, I've included pictures because we are on the improving our vocabulary. And from my experience, when you are memorizing words or adding new words into your head, it helps if you have a visual of the meaning of the word. Okay, so here, mundane, menial. If ever that comes up in the entrance exam, at least you can, remember this guy doing a very boring job at the office. Okay, that's how we build our vocabulary. Plants are like dogs. We need to nurture them so they will grow. Okay. Most of you got this correctly. 56, nourish, because it's plants like humans. They need nourishment or food in order to grow. Okay. No one answered water. Good. I thought many will answer also water because of what watering the plant, but plant will not grow by water alone, right? It needs soil, minerals, fertilizers. Okay. Some answered love, but again, you cannot grow a plant by just loving. Okay. You cannot make it grow by just saying I love you every day. Hey plant, I love you, and then you give a pat, but you're not watering or putting in any nourishment on the soil, then it will die. Okay, so again, nourish is the best meaning for nurture. Love is not enough, sabi ni Sheila. May mga may mga senti. All right, let's go to the next slide. Guys, you can chat, so it will not be a very boring discussion. So if your plant is like this, needs to eat you in order to get nourishment, then get another plant. Okay, but that's you do not need to sacrifice yourself in order to nourish your plant. Okay, feed it fertilizer, not your body. Feed me. Sino raw may pagkain? Okay, let's move on. Wow, that's Puto from Rosel Rojas. Right. So let's move to the next question. After a great recital, Rita thanked her supporters and received their accolades with much gratitude. So what recitals are? It's, you make a performance like a piano recital, or you sing, right? You sing, you dance. That's a recital. Okay. So I'm confused why many answered gifts. Okay. Yes, you give gifts, but when you're in a concert, even if you're a big fan and you love the performer so much, you do not go to the performer and give gifts. Okay. It's not Christmas Day. Okay. Cheers. Well, yes, if you're on the stage and Rita is in the middle of a performance, then you will cheer for her, right? But if you will look at the sentence, it says here, after a great recital. So if you keep on cheering even if the performance is already over, then they will think that you're insane, right? they will bring you to mental hospital. So again, cheer is not the correct answer here. The correct answer here, what we mean by accolades is verbal praise, okay? Like congratulations, right? Or very good, you make a wonderful performance tonight. So those are accolades, okay? Again, guys, whenever you select your answer, you try to imagine the sentence with the answer that you have chosen. For example, I chose gifts. It will make sense. After a great recital, Rita thanked her supporters and received their gifts with much gratitude. But again, think again. It's a recital, not a exchange gift. It's not an exchange gift. So why give gifts? Okay. Cheer. So imagine, am I still cheering even after the performance? Right. So the correct answer here, it will leave you with the right answer, which is verbal praise. Again, if you want to ace your English exam on your college test, then make sure that you're applying what I'm teaching you. Okay, these are best practices. Okay, that I have learned by taking so many scholarship tests. Okay, again, always look for context clues in the sentence. Next. So there you go. So accolades. It's like congratulations. So it's not verbal. So clapping of hands is not accolades because it's non-verbal. So accolades is saying congratulations or nice job. Those are accolades. All right. So let's go to the next question. Gina preferred modesty in men. So that will be your clue, okay? Modesty or humble. Then we go to the next sentence. That is why she was turned off by Mark's baroque act of courting her. So if Gina was turned off, then it means that Mark is not modest, right? He is not humble. Okay, otherwise, if baroque means humble or modest, then Gina will be, thrilled to have Mark as a boyfriend, right? So baroque probably means the opposite of modest. So you can select here extravagant. And 61 of you get the correct answer. Very good. Some or 3 of you selected classic, probably because you have an idea with the Baroque architecture. So Baroque architecture, those are classic building designs, okay? But we are referring to English, not architecture when we say Baroque, okay? We're referring to the meaning of a Baroque as a behavior, okay? Not as a design. So it's not classic. If I'm referring to a design, then classic will probably be correct, okay? So it's like, if you have seen this, it goes viral on Facebook. A man purchased 25 iPhone X just to propose to her, girlfriend. You know how much one iPhone is, or iPhone X? I think when they introduced that, it's 60,000 pesos per unit. Okay, so that's more than $1 million. 25 iPhone X just to ensure that the girl will say yes. Okay, of course the girl said yes, because that's an extravagant proposal. But if that girl is Gina, then she the guy will receive a no for an answer, because Gina does not want extravagant or baroque men. Okay, let's move to the next question. Again, guys, you may write the words that we are discussing, because those words I have just taken them from reviewers that are available to me, and those reviewers, they just take it from previous college entrance test questions. And I will tell you guys, those words are being recycled every now and then. Okay, so some of the words here that we're discussing, it might appear, some may not, may not, but it may appear on the next exams. But again, it's just within this circle of words. That's why I did not give you any other words that I know to challenge you. I stick to those that are being recycled over and over again, because those are the ones that's showing in the exam. They just change the sentence, okay, but the exact same words are the ones that they're also using. Okay, so make sure that you know all these words. Michael's bumptious behavior drew the ire of his classmates, so they always put him in his proper place. So again, the clue here is the last sentence. Put him in his proper place. So probably Michael is like a social climber, would like to claim to be something that he is not. That's why his classmates always want to put him back to where he belongs, right? So from this meaning alone, you could deduce that the answer is haughty or boastful. I don't know why some would say humble. If you're a very humble person, then people will not, put you in your place, because you're already in your place. You're a humble person. Your feet is stuck on the ground. Okay. Modest is the same as humble, so it is not the meaning of bumptious. It's the exact opposite meaning, or the antonym. Okay. So 69 got this correctly. Very good. So there you go. Those are bumptious men. I think in this fight, this guy lose in the second round. Okay, so he's like untouchable, but he was put in proper place by his opponent because he's very haughty and bumptious. Mas mahal pa mag-propose kaysa sa kasal. True. But you don't know if he can afford 25 iPhones. Probably he could also afford to spend so much on a wedding. Okay. Let's go to the next question. The dog has a comely appearance that startled all who approached when it snarls at them. When you say comely, it's like the appearance is inviting you to come, to approach. Okay, so if it's ugly, I don't think you will be invited to approach. Naturally, we hate ugly, right? We do not want ugly things. When you look for a girl, you choose the beautiful ones. Although some are beautiful at heart. Okay, I'm not saying you discriminate, but when you say comely, it will invite you to come to that person. Okay, so the correct choice here is beautiful. Okay. Now some said repulsive. Again, it will not. It will go against the context of the sentence. The sentence said here that those who approached were startled. Okay. If the meaning is repulsive, then they will not be surprised anymore when the dog barks at them, because they know that it's already repulsive or aggressive. Oh, it's a tie. Liver Aid, it's a tie. Beautiful, 33 answered beautiful, and 33 answered aggressive. Again, they might have chosen aggressive because it connects to the word gnarls at them. Okay?
Sir, I have a question po.
Yes?
Um, sa question na po yan is I answered meek. Kasi po, di ba, meek po in Tagalog is maamo. So, na-confuse lang po ako why beautiful po. Is it because dun sa appearance po na word or sadyang yun na po talaga yun?
Good question. Commonly, you might be invited to come to a person if he or she is meek, right? But again, you're correct. Meek is behavior. It's a beautiful behavior. But here, the word commonly is used with in connection to appearance. So beautiful is the best answer. Do you get it?
Sir, yes po.
If the sentence is by his comely behavior, people started making friends with her, then comely would refer to the behavior meek. You get it?
Yes po, sir. Thank you.
Very good. Again, guys, and examiners would love to do this. They will give you a selection that is a very close match to the right answer. So you have to use your head. They will give you tricky selections, and you might think that one is the better answer. But if you think carefully, those are like bait and trap that they try to include in the exam just to determine who are the students who are not reasoning when it comes to answering their test. Okay, but simple reasoning will give you the correct answer here. Okay, again, it all boils down to context clues, or what the rest of the sentence intends to mean. I don't know if this is a comely dog. He looks smiling, but as you all know, di ba, ngiting aso, it's going to bite if it's ngiting aso. Because dogs, when they are smiling, they do not do it with their teeth. They do it with their tails. They wag, right? Their tails. That means they are happy to see you. But if you see a dog like this, never ever approach. That is not a smile, okay? That is the beginning of a bite, okay? That's why we have in Filipino the ngiting aso. Right? Let's go to the next question. We have a lot of chats. Binenta yung 24 iPhones para sa kasal. Hindi maka-move on sa iPhones. Cutie nung nose parang pantasa. Alright, we are on focus on the next question. Forget the 25 iPhones. That's two questions behind. All right. So we are now here on the next question. After the committee deliberated on the teacher's case, they concurred that he should be expelled from the school due to his unprofessional behavior. So what do we mean by concurred? Okay. First of all, a committee cannot impose a sanction if they have not agreed on a decision, right? Because they will, debate, they will try to weigh things in. Okay, if it's 50-50, then they will not expel the student. Okay, it has to be a majority decision. Okay, so the best word here that represent the meaning of concurred based on the sentence that we're reading is agreed. Okay, so most of you answered agreed, 47, but some answered concluded. It might be a good substitution for concurred. Like if we read after the committee deliberated on the teacher's case, they concluded that he should be expelled from the school due to his unprofessional behavior. But again, concluded is, you know, just forming your judgment, but it will not reach into a decision yet. Okay, it might mean concluded, but if the sentence is about you know, concluding that the teacher is guilty, then concluded might be a better substitute. But if you will look at the sentence, the word concurred here is used in a sense that the committee have all agreed to make a decision of expelling a teacher. Okay, so by the sentence alone, without you looking at a dictionary, you can realize that concurred means agreed. Okay, but again, guys, examiners will throw you the concluded choice in order to, you know, throw you off track. You're on the right path to getting the right answer, and then you will see another answer that's as equally good, and you will be confused, right? And guys, another tip, because it is, or it will also affect the time, it will take more time if you hesitate on a particular question. If in a particular question there are two equally good answers, do not spend more time, just choose the first choice that comes into your mind. Because basically, probably 80% of the time, your first gut feeling is the correct one. Okay, when you overthink, that's the time that there will be some choices that will seem equally good. But trust your gut feeling. When you encountered two answers that are basically both correct, then choose the first answer that comes into your mind. Okay, choose that one and then pray. Okay, that you have the, there you go. So they are agreeing. They agree that, you know, it's the last day of the teacher in the school. So that's concurred. Okay, let's move on to the next question. The Pinoy Got Talent finalists had a razzmatazz performance that gave them 4 yes votes from the judges. So the sentence will tell you it's a good performance because it's 4 yeses, right? And then razzmatazz, that's an onomatopoeia. Z, 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 z. Okay, so it's probably have a word that has the same onomatopoeic origin, and the clue of the entire sentence will lead you to the answer dazzling. Okay, and most of you got this correctly. Melancholic, 5 of you chose this. I don't know why. If it's a melancholic performance, you will not get a vote of yes. Okay. Energetic, probably we have seen a lot of energetic performance, but no talent. So energetic performance alone will not give you 4 yes votes. Okay, so it has to be dazzling. That's the idea of the sentence. Like that. So it has to be dazzling. The choreography is extraordinary. Okay, when we say dazzle, it's like sparkling into your eyes. It's like dazzle the eyes. So it has to be, you know, it has to be a performance that will stand out from all the other entries. Okay, that's razzmatazz. All right, next question. The barangay is still lugubrious, is still in lugubrious mode due to a COVID death of one of their residents. So is it happy? I'm happy no one chose this because that will be abnormal. You're happy about someone else's death. Sad may be correct. Celebratory, someone chose celebratory. I don't know why. But the most of you answered correctly, mournful. Those two students who answered sad or celebratory, probably they do not know what lugubrious means. So they just select any answer, you know, chamba, and then praying that it's correct. Okay. But again, guys, if you will look at the entire sentence, try to imagine in your barangay, someone died of COVID. So will it be a happy day? Will it be a cause for celebration? It will be. It might be sad, right? But it will be a more stronger feeling of sadness, and the appropriate word for that to describe that intense sadness is mournful. Okay, because it's associated, and also mournful is always associated with death. Okay, so those will be your clue. The word death, and then again the mode of the entire barangay will give you the meaning of lugubrious. There you go. So if you're sad, you can be sad without crying, right? But if imagine your best friend or your relative, I hope not your parents or your brothers or sisters. If you lose someone really close to you, it's, you know, a whole lot. It's a whole lot of intensified emotion. That is not plain sadness, okay? And it's mourning that we usually call it. So it's not like this, okay? So for those who answered celebratory, then that's a celebratory celebration, okay? And this is very famous on YouTube and Facebook. I keep on seeing these memes whenever there's an accident in Facebook due to stupidity, and then they will put in this meme, and I figured it's better I put it in here also because it will take away the boring sessions that we have. Okay, there you go. So again, lugubrious is not those black people dancing with their coffin on their back. All right, let's move on to the next question. Again, COVID-19, because you know this is a pandemic. So I'm choosing, or I'm creating statements that will, you know, connect to our current situation right now, and it's COVID. COVID-19 created a catastrophic effect to the Philippine economy due to the longest lockdown imposed by the government. So if you lock down, meaning you close the stores, you close transportation. So what do you think will be the effect to the economy? Some of you answered fatal. Economy is not a breathing, living thing, so it will not die. Okay, so do not answer fatal. It's not appropriate adjective to describe what will happen to the economy. Unforgettable, well, yes, but it's not a good description either. And symbolic, it's not symbolic. COVID, what do you mean this? A COVID effect is real, not even a symbol. It's a real devastation to the entire economy of the Philippines. So most of you answered correctly, ruinous, or in ruin, okay? Destruction, that's what it means, catastrophic. Like for example, we have a catastrophic storm like Yolanda, then it ruins all the houses, okay? It ruins the entire neighborhood. Okay, it ruins the trees. Okay, photos you can hear. Oh, probably the meme of the dancing coffin. Again, so it's ruinous for the word catastrophic. Let's go to the next question. There you go. So because of the COVID, from an economy that, you know, we have ups and downs, what we call the bull economy. Bull meaning it's very aggressive. It's increasing. So many people opening business. Bull meaning taking risks because they know that they will get rich in a booming economy. And then when we say bear, sometimes it goes down because it sleeps, especially when people would think that there is a civil war coming, so they will save money first instead of spending on capital and opening a business. They will just save money in case of war. So those are bear economies. But with COVID, it goes all the way down. So it destroys, it ruins the economy. Here, Jose Rizal. I've included many of Jose Rizal's quotes here because I'm a member of the Knights of Rizal. So that's an order of people who would like to extend the teaching of Rizal to the younger generations, which are you guys. So Rizal once wrote in Noli Me Tangere, and this was spoken by Elias. Elias said, "It is a useless life that is not consecrated to a great ideal. It is like a stone wasted on the field without becoming part of any edifice." Okay, so for example, you guys, you are the youth. Remember, Rizal said, ang kabataan ang pag-asa ng bayan. So if you do not become part of any great ideal, or you do not become part of any institution, you're just a college dropout or something, then that will be a useless life. Okay, so make sure, guys, that when you enter college, make sure you finish your college and become part of an institution like the medical profession, the teaching profession, so that you will be part of something great. Okay, so here edifice means a building. Although stones can also make a house, you cannot build a concrete house without using stones, or a fort or a church, but they are not great ideals. The clue here is consecrating to a great ideal. Okay, church is associated with dogmatic belief. Okay, although for the religious, love of God is the greatest ideals, but here Rizal is referring to nation building or helping your countrymen. So those are great ideals. Okay, and its fourth is an ideal for war. So it's not a great ideal to prepare for war. But building like school buildings, what else? Hall of Justice. So those are consecrated to the great ideals of education, transferring knowledge to the youth. So those are great ideals. Great ideals of justice, creating equality, providing justice and access to the law to the poorest of the poor. So those are great ideals. So the best answer here is building, and most of you were able to answer it right. 52 students answered building. Very good. So those are, you use a stone to build great buildings that will, promote greater ideals to the community. When I'm creating the video, I'm sort of just adding pictures because I thought it's going to be a very boring discussion if I'm just discussing questions and answers to you guys. So I put in pictures. And then I found out that we can have animated pictures and PowerPoint can carry them, okay? Although I'm opposed to putting in videos into PowerPoint because sometimes the PowerPoint hangs if it has a video on it. But with GIF and animation, they are like pictures, so it's very easy for PowerPoint to handle, and it's also interesting, right? It makes this afternoon less boring. Let's now move on to next question. Each of the 90 students of CET private review is unique. They have their own idiosyncrasies. All right, so I throw in here two equally correct, not equally correct, but probably correct answers. And one is characteristics, which most of you selected, and the other is behaviors, which some of you selected. And I would say that idiosyncrasies can refer to behavior also, because if you have behaviors, then you're idiosyncratic. That's the word for that. But idiosyncrasies refer to much more than just behavior. You could be idiosyncratic when you memorize a dictionary. Okay, so you have a lot of knowledge about English words, or you memorize. You have a lot of knowledge of the periodic table of elements. So that's a characteristics that is usually not expressed in behavior. Okay, so that means that in the word idiosyncrasies, it is referring to characteristics. That's the most accurate definition. Although behavior can also define idiosyncrasy, but it is not the most accurate, okay? And behavior is just part of characteristics, okay? Characteristics covers everything. Your physical appearance is characteristics, your knowledge, your behavior, your attitudes, and even your skills is part of characteristics. So those will compose the idiosyncrasies of each one of you. Let me just read your, I have a question. So someone would like to ask or gets. So probably that she is questioning the behavior. I've told you it's also correct, but the most correct answer is characteristics, because it encompasses all the things that is unique about you, not just your behavior, your physical appearance, like here Jim Carrey, the hair, that's idiosyncrasy. If you have a unique hair, the way you smile, so that's behavior, so that's correct, partially correct. Your knowledge, if you have wide knowledge of all the different design of Victoria's Secret for guys, then that's idiosyncratic for a guy, right? To memorize all the Victoria's Secret panties, which is, you know, on the forte of women. Okay, so again, that's idiosyncrasy. Right. Next, the subservient soldier was given a speedy promotion by his commanding general. So I gave you choices here that are confusing, because obedient, courageous, loyal, industrious use will give you a promotion if you are a soldier. Okay, just so to challenge you guys to to think. Okay, this is one of the college level questions. I told you 50% of the questions I throw at you are college level questions. Okay, I hope they will not give you questions like this in the college entrance exam, because in the college entrance exam, I survived by the process of elimination. Some of the choices are outright, outright wrong. Okay, but college level, they will give you choices that are all correct, and you will have to select the best answer. So if you do not know subservient, me also, I do not use subservient, so I'm not familiar with it. First thing that you will have to take note here is the word commanding general. Okay, so that means an officer that's giving the orders. Okay, so you can be courageous, but if your courage is not in accordance to the orders, then you will not get a speedy promotion. You may be industry use, you build a bridge, but your general is asking you to dig a foxhole or dig a tunnel, then it will also not give you a promotion. Or you may be loyal, but you do not follow orders, then also it will not give you a promotion. So that's my first clue here, commanding general. So orders, obedient. And then you have the word sub in the subservient. So when you say sub, it has relative words like subordinate, subjugating, subjugate, meaning you make them follow, right? We have the subordinating conjunction, meaning making the sentence become dependent to another sentence. So sub by sub alone, it means that you have to depend on another person for you to move. Okay, so you can be courageous alone without following anyone else. You can be loyal to yourself, not to anyone else, and you can be industry use for your own cause. Okay, but subservient here would mean in relation to following an order from a general, and so the selection obedient is the best answer. See, guys, I can answer the question even without me knowing the meaning of the word. So do not panic if you keep on encountering words like this in the sample test that you may have. I know some of you have bought also books so that you can review. Those are good. Sample questions are good for you to become familiar with the words. But even if you're not familiar, you can derive the meaning by just reading the sentence, and then use your imagination. Okay. So there you go, being obedient soldier. So if the soldier or if the officer asks you to shout, you shout. Okay. If the officer asks you to formation, so you go into formation. So that's subservient. The math teacher displays a bizarre behavior when he teaches algebra by singing. And some of you answered talented. That's correct, because if you cannot sing if you do not have talent, right? But it's not in relation to teaching algebra, because what will you think of a teacher who, instead of writing numbers on the board, instead of doing that to teach you algebra, he just gave you a performance, like when saying X, and then he perform the choreo of X, then Y, MCA, see X and Y algebra, and then the teacher is doing that by dancing. Then that's not ordinary. Okay, so the correct answer here is odd. Okay, not talented, but I kind of laugh when I saw that 13 people answered talented. Well, it makes sense because you cannot sing if you're not talented, but it's not what the sentence means. Okay, remember, guys, I told you, try to substitute your chosen answer into the sentence and then imagine what will happen to the sentence if you put it put in the word, okay? If the sentence sounds ridiculous and funny, then it's not the correct answer. See, that's what I mean by, you know, a teacher who is who has a bizarre way of teaching, or an odd way, out of the ordinary way of teaching. Next, our new classmate surprises us with her green jokes despite her naive appearance. Naive, I keep on, when I read the novels, I keep on reading that word. So I know the meaning of that right away. But for those who are non-readers, you might be unfamiliar with this, but you can check the meaning of the word naive by looking at the rest of the sentence. So if you're surprised that your classmate is telling green jokes, then that means that your first impression of her is not naughty, right? It's the opposite of naughty, okay? So the correct answer here is the meaning of naive is innocent, okay? Because if you think she's a naughty girl, then you will not be surprised anymore if she knows a lot of green jokes, right? So the fact that your first impression of her is innocent, and then she begins telling rowdy and naughty jokes, then you will be surprised. Sophisticated, no, it's not sophisticated. It's not aloof either. There you go. See, first time you enter college, you see a beautiful girl, China eyes, innocent looking. And then you find out kalog pala, kalog. See, again, you will make a lot of impressions on your first year of college, and you will be surprised every day to discover new things about your classmates, about the class, and about your school. Okay, so welcome college life. It's a very interesting part of your life. Although high school is still the best. You might not have known the song "High School Life is My High School Life" because that's during my age. Okay, but that song is referring to high school as the best part of a man and woman's life, and it's, for me, it's correct, or it's true. Okay, for you still have college to compare it with, but I would say college is also interesting, but high school life is the best. Okay, so make sure you stay in contact with your high school friends. Even as when we are we have a GC on high school. We have a GC on with my elementary classmates before. We do not have a GC in college because in college you will have a different classmate for every course. Okay, so the GC I have with my high school friends are the GC that I'm close with. Okay, we're making a lot of jokes. It's like you have never really grown old. Okay, and you stay friends forever. Right, after CET, the examinees choose a famous rendezvous. This is not rendezvous because this is a borrowed French word, so you have to follow the French pronunciation. Rendezvous to celebrate their efforts in reviewing. Okay. So what does rendezvous mean? Everyone almost got it correctly, or almost everyone got it correctly. It's a place. Okay. Especially for the gamers. Okay. It's always appearing on the choices, right, or on the mission or rendezvous. Then they will drop you in the part of the map where you will meet up with with the characters in the game, okay? Or the rendezvous point. So that's a place. It could be a restaurant, because restaurant is also a place. Probably that's what others, the others reason why they chose restaurant. But again, guys, you should choose the best answer, okay? Because rendezvous covers a lot of place, not just restaurant. So place is the correct answer. There you go. So this is a very, very grainy animation, probably because it's long. If the animation is very long, it will not play quick enough if you put in a very high resolution. So this animation, in order to enable PowerPoint to play it without any errors, he or she just put it in a very low pixel. So those are basically rendezvous. When you say rendezvous in a game, they will put you in a place where you will start your mission. Okay. Next question. The altercation between the top 2 students regarding their final grade computations escalated to the fighting of their parents and supporters. So the keyword here is fighting, okay? So you will not fight if you're in competition, right? Sometimes they, especially if they are in good sports, they congratulate each other, okay? But you will fight if you have disagreement, okay? So this is the correct answer, disagreement. Cheating, top 2 students, if one cheated, then there's no contest. He or she will be disqualified, and there's no point to contest, right? Difference, that's it seldom lead to altercation, difference, because altercation, there is already a conflict or a disagreement. So disagreement is the correct choice. Remember this, Claudine Barreto and Tulfo. I think that's Montulfo. So it's not just minor, it's not competition, rushing to the line to get their baggage. It's a total disagreement. That's why it leads to a fight. So we will now go to the identifying the wrong answer. Okay. This should be fun, because this will be the application of all the modules that we have discussed. Okay. I hope you can still remember all of them. So 4,500 pesos are the price of swab tests being performed at the Philippine Red Cross headquarters. SBA, right? The rule that we've discussed, if it's a unit of measurement, money, distance, weight, even if they are more than one, like 10 kilograms, 100 pesos, 8 liters, they are always singular, okay? So the wrong part here is R. It should be is. 4,500 pesos is the price, okay? Very easy. Most of you got it correctly. 68 people. So again, guys, always remember, if it is a measurement, even if it's more than one, it is, or it takes singular verb. Next. Cyberbullying is a crime that the police will charge when it finds that his suspects are guilty. So we have here 2 pronouns, the it and his, okay? And you cannot, in a sentence, you cannot use 2 different pronouns to refer to the same antecedent, okay? So you have to be what do you call this? You have to be consistent with your use of pronouns. So there is a mistake in this sentence because the antecedent here is police, and the first pronoun used to refer to police is the neutral, it, and then the second antecedent pronoun is the masculine, his. Now, to follow consistency, we could either say cyberbullying is the crime that the police will charge when he finds that his suspects are guilty. Or we could also remove his. We say cyberbullying is the crime that the police will charge when it finds that its suspects are guilty. So you can select it or his, and it reflects on your choices. 29 selected it, and 29 also selected his. It's a tie. Silly marine capsule. But again, guys, you should always select one because there may be two correct answers, but the best answer should be selected because that's what will make you pass CET. So you have to determine here which one should I choose. Okay, you can follow my tip, which is select the first one that enters your head. But here you could reason out. Look at the word police. Okay, when you say police, it does not necessarily mean masculine, right? Remember, if you're sure that it's masculine, you say he. If it's feminine, you say she. But if you're not sure, like it's a book, so no gender, or it's an animal, you're not sure of the gender, then you use it. So in the case of police, it's not identified whether it's a policeman or a policewoman. So you say, or you use the neutral, it. Okay. Again, guys, do not assume. Just because police, you right away assume that it's masculine. Okay. We are in a day where police women and policemen are almost equal. We even have chief of police who are women. Okay. Sir, bakit it po hindi they? Because it's a police singular. Okay. You're referring to the entire. Hold on, let me check the sentence again. Thank you for that feedback. Cyberbullying is the crime that the police. All right, the police is referring to the entire force. So it consists of men and women, but as a group, they function as a singular noun. Remember our mass nouns? Okay, if it's referring to a mass of people or a mass of things, they act as singular. So we use it. Was I able to explain that? Who's the one who answered? Okay, po, sir. Thank you. All right. So I hope that's clear. You will also encounter a lot of mass nouns here. They may compose several individual members, but treat them as singular. Like furniture, it does not mean one item only. It could mean the entire set, tables, chairs, bed, but they are still singular. Okay. Same with the baggage. You may have a backpack, you may have a shoulder bag, you may have a sling bag, but they're all just one baggage. Okay. So again, guys, always remember, never assume. Okay. In the first question, half of you assume that police there is meant by masculine or men. Okay. So you assume the police force are men, so you use his. So never assume that unless you are a graduate of the Assumption College, okay, of Manila. Yeah, man, exclusive. The College of Gloria Macapagal, Arroyo, and all the elite ladies, Assumption College. So if you're not Assumptionista, do not assume, okay? Next, next question. A CET private review, duty, differ from all other students in that her reviewers are uploaded online by her tutor. Again, this is a simple question, subject-verb agreement. Your subject is tuti, singular. And the next clue is the indefinite pronoun a. It's an article that specifies just one, okay? So to make it agree with the verb to use is the singular, should have S, differs. And 38 got it correctly. I don't know why others said no errors, okay? Again, tuti is singular, therefore singular verb with S. There you go. Subject verb, if it's just one, like the boy, verb should have S, runs. Okay, the boy runs the street corner every morning. Duty oil. Okay, gender equality. Very good. Nice comment. Always remember when you are making your statements, be mindful of gender equality. Okay, because you might hurt other sectors of the society. Next, President Duterte supports whomever hates VP Lenny's success in COVID mitigation. Yes, si Kaina Serino, you have a question? Hello, Shikaina. Hello. Well, we're not hearing from Shikaina. Let's continue. So President Duterte supports whomever hates VP Lenny's success in COVID mitigation. Let me just read the chat. Wala po, napindot lang. All right, let's continue. All right, here I think I've given this to you when I gave you a test diagnostic, right? So this whomever hates VP Lenny's success, this is an embedded sentence, right? It's a sentence on its own, okay? The matrix sentence is President Duterte supports, and then the noun phrase, which is your embedded sentence, supports people. It's like that. President Duterte supports people, the noun phrase, and then we will define it by the noun phrase, whomever hates VP Lenny's success in COVID mitigation. This is an embedded sentence, okay? So whomever here is functioning, it is functioning as the doer of the verb hates, right? And if it is the doer of the action, then it should be in the subjective form. Whoever, not whomever. Whomever is when it is in the objective form. Like it's a direct object, it is receiving the action, then you use whomever. Okay? If the sentence here is President Duterte supports whomever the Dilawan bullied, then whomever is correct, because whomever there, that person is receiving the action of bullying, right? But in this sentence, the whomever person here is the doer of the action of hating VP Lenny's success in COVID mitigation. So the correct answer is whoever, therefore whomever is the wrong part in this sentence. So no error is not correct, okay? Again, guys, you might be tricked by the structure of the sentence, whomever is right after the verb supports, right? So you say whomever is the direct object of the verb supports, right? But that is not the correct way to look at it. The direct object of the verb supports is this entire noun phrase. Remember, on the last module that I've discussed to you, relative pronoun can make a clause a relative noun phrase, meaning it's dependent. So it's an entire clause, meaning the doer of this action there is the subject. Okay, it's an entire sentence, and that is the direct object of this verb, supports. You got it? Confusing? It should be. They will not put it in the entrance exam if it's not confusing. But don't worry, guys. These are college level questions. But just so I could check whether you still remember the discussion that we have when it comes to embedded sentences, they can act as an entire noun phrase. So they are in itself direct object, but the form of their sentence remains. So if in one part of the noun phrase there is a subject, the doer of the action, then they should remain in the subjective form. Okay, like this, whoever. If you're still confused, you may try to listen or go to our YouTube channel and watch the last part of session number 4. I've discussed there the embedded sentences. Okay, let's move on to, there you go. These are examples of embedded sentences. The witch is very spooky. Okay, that's your matrix sentence. And then I inserted an entire sentence with a relative pronoun who has green eyes, since it is doing the action or the subject of the embedded sentence, then who is in the subjective form. Okay, but if my embedded sentence, who the antecedent of the relative pronoun who or whom is receiving the action, then it should be in the objective form, whom. Like the witch whom received the hate of the community is very spooky. See, in my embedded sentence, the subject, or I mean the relative pronoun, is acting as a direct object of the hate of the community, then I use whom. The witch whom is hated by the community is very spooky. But if my embedded sentence, if the relative pronoun is acting as the doer of the action or the subject, like here, who has green eyes, then I will use the subjective form, who. The witch who has green eyes is very spooky. Again, confusing. I hope you can review our video. That's a good thing about video. You may not understand it the first time. Then you can, rewind, watch again, or pause, so you can digest before you move on to the next discussion. Next, suffrage is the process of voting for one or more candidates whose platform addresses the needs of the voters. Again, we have another relative pronoun here, whose, and platform is a noun. That means that whose here is an adjective, more specifically a possessive adjective. Remember, a possessive noun can become a possessive adjective if there's a noun following it, which it is describing. Okay, so the correct form of possessive relative pronoun whose is WHOSE, because this is a concatenated form of who is. So you do not say suffrage is the process of voting for one or more candidates who is platform addresses. See, it does not make sense. So this should be WHOSE. And the majority got it correctly. 59, very good. Others, 12 students said no error. They might have overlooked the whose because they sound the same, right? If you read it fast and you sounded it inside your head, you will say, oh, it sounds the same, okay? But if you see apostrophe S, this is also what I do sometimes. even if the sentence sounds correct. I try to remove the concatenation. So if it's who apostrophe s, I would try to separate them and just read them who is. And then that's where I will get the error, that if it does not sound right, then it's not correct. Same with he apostrophe s, and then his. Sometimes you will be tricked. The correct word is his, H-I-S, his, but the word in the sentence is he apostrophe s. So if you will just base it on how it sounds, it might sound correct. So there are those. Oh, so here are your relative pronoun chart, just a review. So you do not have to go back to our modules. So if it's possessive, the correct spelling is W-H-O-S-E, okay? Who apostrophe S means who is, which is not correct in the sentence. Next, physics is such important subject and is like so many of the sciences that is taught. Again, physics is, even if sino, sir, ano po ba yung whomever? Okay, based on the last question, whomever is the one doing the action of hating VP Lenny's success against COVID-19. So whomever is the doer of the action, therefore you should use whoever, because whomever is the objective form, meaning it is a receiver of the action if you use whomever. If it is the one doing the action, then you should use whoever, okay? But whoever that is, if you're asking about the name of the particular person, I don't know who they are, okay? If that is what your question. Okay, let's get back here to the question. Physics is such important subject. Again, physics is singular, right? Because of the word is. So you should put an indefinite article an, important here, to indicate an is an article of singularity, to indicate that there is only one subject, okay? So it should read such an important subject, okay? And it's like, it's correct, and it's like so many of the sciences that is taught. So many of the sciences, 12 of you selected so many. It is also correct because you can count sciences in terms of subjects like biology, math, physics. Those are subjects which you can count. So many is correct. If you're thinking to just one science, which is non-count science as a whole, that's non-count, then the correct word is, instead of many, is much. Remember, if it's non-count, much. But here, sciences is referred to as plural, meaning we are referring to the individual science, individual sciences like physics, math, so on and so forth. So examples of nouns with S: banks, mathematics, physics, economics, news. So physics there, even if there's an S, it's still singular, therefore you use such an important subject. All right, next question. The best time to consult your CET private tutor is usually among 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Good. Most of you got it correctly, 65 students. 3 students said usually. Usually is just a preposition of, I'm sorry, it's an adverb of frequency, which is saying 90% of the time it occurs between 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Okay, so that is still correct. What is not correct is the use of among, because you use among if it's more than 2, okay? But here we only have 2 time reference, 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. So the correct preposition here to use is the preposition with. Okay. Remember our slides on preposition? I get it from the from my other module. So if we have two time references like 3 and 5 p.m., then we use the preposition between. He will arrive between 3 and 5 p.m. Okay. If you use among, then it is used in order to here you go. Use among if it's more than 2 nouns or pronouns. Okay. So I will have to choose between Justin, Mel, and Hannah, Daniel. So I use between because there are only 2 students. But if I have many, like John Lloyd, Justin, and Hannah, then I would say I will choose among John Lloyd, Justin, Mel, or Hannah, Daniel, who is the most attentive student in this Zoom class. Right? So always remember that, with versus among. Most CET takers can pass UPCAT by review their Zoom sessions with Sir Nathan. So most of you got this correctly. Very good. Review is a verb, so you cannot use that beside the preposition. By, remember, is a preposition, and what follows a preposition is the object of the preposition, which should be a noun or pronoun, right? And it should be in the objective form. That's why we call it the object of the preposition. Okay, so review is a verb. So how do we convert it into a noun? Remember, it's followed by a preposition. So the verb review must be converted into a noun. And by you answering them correctly means you know the gerund form of the verb. So a quick review: direct object, indirect object, and object of a preposition. They are all nouns. A fish, her, they are all nouns and in the objective form, because the subjective form of her is she, but her is objective form. Of course, noun like fish and salt, there's no objective or subjective, but be careful with pronouns. So therefore, the object of the preposition should be a noun, and to transform the verb reward into a noun, we implement gerunds. We add ing. So it should be rewarding. Okay. Going back, the sentence should read, most CET takers can pass UPCAT by reviewing their Zoom sessions with Sir Nathan. It's good that you already know the concept of gerunds, because it will also appear on your CET English exam. I think 2 or 3 questions involves gerunds. Next, bats spends most of their time inside caves, upside down, and silently carrying the COVID virus. What is wrong with this? So SVA, very simple. I put in a very long sentence to consume your time, but guys, I would suggest once you find the error right away, like as basic as this, bats spends. See, that's an SVA, error. So do not read the entire sentence. It will just, take more time, or, consume your very limited time during tests. So for me, once I sort of read this in a reviewer and I tried answering them. So I saw that bats spends, so I blackened the letter A right away. I do not need to read the entire sentence. So again, as a review, If it's singular verb, dog, verb should have S. Dog chases the cat. But bats, it have S. Therefore, the verb should not have S. So dogs chase the cat. Or in our sentence, bats spend most of their time. Okay. So that's a review of subject-verb agreement. Let me just read some chats. Sir, pag po ba plural ng animal, them, they po gamit? I mean, what's the appropriate pronoun po for animals? Animals, especially if you do not know the gender, singular is it, plural, they and them. Depending on they for subjective form, meaning they are doing the action. Them for objective form, meaning they are the direct object, the indirect object, or the object of the preposition, meaning they are receiving the action, then you use them. It, you have no problem. Subjective form and objective form, the same. You still use it. Like it chases them, or they chases it. So it can be subjective or objective form, and it does not change in form, right? So animals use the neutral because it is seldom that we know the gender of animals. Okay, you do not approach an animal and look at the gender. Okay, in order to apply the correct masculine or feminine form. Once you see an animal and you're not sure of the gender, use the neutral form. All right, let's move on if there's no other question. Water often occur together with cola extract in the soft drink containers to rehydrate us during long walks. SBA again. Water is non-count. Therefore, it should not take a plural form. So why are you using here a plural verb occur? So it should have S. So most of you answered correctly, 45 of you, but many said there's no error. Okay. Again, guys, water are singular because they are mass nouns. Let me read some chat. But sir, if you have a personal relationship to that certain animal, that will be the time to use a pronoun na may gender na po, di ba? Yes, if you know the animal, or if you know the proper term for the female animal, then you may use the third person masculine or feminine. Okay, for example, if you say hen, my hen lays eggs. She laid every morning. So you do not use it anymore. You just say my hen lays eggs. It lays every morning. Then it will not be correct anymore because you already know the gender of the animal. If you do not know, then you just say chicken. Okay, but of course, if it lays eggs, roosters will not lay egg. Okay, let's read some more chats. Or you may also, if I'm not reading your chat, you may unmute and then you may cut me off and then throw your questions. That's okay. Thank you, Po, sir, for the clarification. It's a bitch, but it's not. It's not a form of in English. You have a hound for male and bitch for female. But of course, when they say son of a bitch, then that's the time it becomes derogatory. Okay. But bitch is a proper English word to refer to a female dog. Right, again here, water occur, SVA, so occur is the correct word. I don't know of those who answered no error, probably they were not able to notice. But again, guys, be mindful of your subject-verb agreement. Usually 10 questions are of the SVA type. Beach. That's a different beach with a long E pronunciation refers to that long stretch of sand that you love to go to during vacation. Okay, but with a short I, beach, then that's refers to the female dog. So do not say to your American friends, come visit the Philippines. We have so many beach, beautiful beach, because the Americans will not, you know, understand you correctly. They might think you're bugao, okay? You're selling women beaches, okay? So be mindful of your pronunciation, especially when talking to foreigners. Let's go to the next question. So again, noun categories. If it's non-count, like water, tea, butter, gold, coffee, glass, you cannot pluralize, okay? You can make them countable by adding quantifiers like bottles of water, bars of gold, okay, grains of coffee, pieces of glass, but without those quantifiers, you cannot pluralize them, okay? But you can use the indefinite pronoun some, okay? But you cannot use the article a, okay? Just a quick review. So it can help you guys when you're answering the real deal questions. Next, after IATF had tried unsuccessfully to determine to who the face masks belonged, they were given to the policeman. Very good. You're able to determine the error. It's who, because who is followed or is following the preposition to. Remember our objects, direct objects, indirect objects, and object of the preposition, they should all be in the objective form, right? So who is in the subjective form. So this is not correct. Should be whom. To determine to whom the face mask belonged, they were just given to the policeman. Unsuccessfully, that's correct. It's describing the verb tried. Had, that's correct because it's referring to past perfect, okay, meaning it happened in the past. Belonged, also past tense, so it's consistent in the statement, so it's not wrong there, okay? So most of you got this correctly. For those, for the others, probably you forgot that every time you see a preposition, the pronoun following it should be in the objective form. The only time it will not be in the objective form is when it is the doer of the action in a noun phrase, or if it is an appositive. Remember, appositive is also the subject. You just rename it. So it is still in the subjective form. But do, io, and object of the preposition, all objective form. Again, we go back to the witch who has green eyes. So you have to check the function of who in the sentence. If it's receiving the action, then use whom. If it's giving the action, then use who. And again, I used this in the first question we tackled regarding the object of the preposition. So all of them, do, io, and op, all of them should be in the objective form. Next, the president, together with his cabinet members, decide to impose another 14 days of hard lockdown in the entire NCR. Most of you got this correctly. Decide should be decides, because your subject here is the president, okay? If you can review my video on the subject-verb agreement, things or words such as together with, as well as, with, along with, they are not a conjunction. Remember, we have a rule if it's connected by and, which is a conjunction, the president and his cabinet members, they become always plural, right? But together with, or as well as, they are prepositions, okay? So prepositions are not part of the subject. In fact, here, cabinet members are not part of the subject. They are the object of the preposition together with. Okay, so they will not change the number of your subject. The subject in your statement is the president, which is only singular. Okay, remember guys, preposition together with, the nouns following them are not part of the subject. They are the object of the preposition, and they will not affect the number of the subjects. Okay. Of course, and is not a preposition. It is a conjunction, because if you use and, then the noun following and can become a subject also if you are forming a compound subject. Okay. So the side here is correct. For those who you selected no error, probably you were confused with this together with. You think it's like the conjunction and, so the side is correct, plural, which is not the case here. Again, subject verb agreement rule. Just a review, okay? I told you to review the video. Well, I just remembered I put this slide back, so you do not need to go back. So the subject and verb must agree. However, the words and phrases with, as well as, together with, along with, are not part of the subject, and the verb agrees with the subject. So even if you add so many other nouns there, as well as Secretary Duque, and together with Secretary Año, President Duterte runs IATF. So it's still singular, because the subject is still singular, President Duterte. Okay. Of course, rule number 3, if it's joined by a conjunction and, then it changes. It now forms a compound subject, and therefore the subject becomes plural. And we have exceptions. If they go together always, like bacon and eggs, burger and fries, fish and chips, then they are always singular. See? Remember your SBA rules, subject verb agreement. By the way, as a side story, do you know, guys, in England, in the past, if you will buy a meal like fish and chips, they will give it to you wrapped in a newspaper. Okay, so it's like here in the Philippines, we say pabiling ang tapsilog. We will give you one styro of rice, tapa, and itlog in one styro. Before, in England, you buy fish and chips, they will give you fish and chips in a newspaper. So it's not very sanitary way back then. Paano sir patao po? Sorry, I can't understand your queries. Pagpo ata. All right, let's just a brief review. Again, along with, together with, are just, variation with a preposition with, or what we call the preposition of description. Okay, they will not affect the subject, because any nouns that comes with it is the object of the preposition, not the subject of the sentence. Next question. He did not achieve a high enough general weighted average grade for him to earn an academic scholarship in Ateneo University. This question confuses you guys. Majority answered, oh, sorry, this is not a majority, 37 out of 84. So it's not more than 50%. But most of you, how do we call this? The greatest number of respondents, although not the majority, answered correctly, achieved, and others find no error. And then others think enough here, which is a, we call this the non-definite article is not correct. But the correct or the wrong answer here, or the error in this sentence, is the word achieve, okay? You cannot have two tenses in one, you cannot have two tenses in one verb phrase. Verb phrase is, remember, the main verb and your helping verb. So you have here your helping verb did, which is in the past tense, and you also have the achieve, which is also in the past tense. Do not or never do that in the English language. You should avoid double negatives. You should avoid redundant words, and you should avoid double tenses in a verb phrase. It is only the modal verb that will take the tense, here did. So the main verb will now go back to the base form, which is achieve. Okay, so the sentence should read, he did not achieve, without D, a high enough general weighted average grade for him to earn an academic scholarship in Ateneo University. Okay, so that's the way to explain it. Never ever use double negative and double tenses. It's the same with, the main verb behaves the same when it becomes an infinitive. Infinitive is when it's followed by, or there's a to before it, like to achieve, to run. He is to run for re-election. Do not put them into the past tense. Once they follow a to infinitive, then they go back to the base form. Okay. So she ate banana yesterday. So that's past tense, right? If I put in a to infinitive, she is to eat banana yesterday. So the eat, even if it's in the past tense, which is ate before in my first statement, it goes back to the base form eat when I add in a to, or a to infinitive. So here, if your jury are English majors and you say, I didn't do nothing, then they will think you're admitting guilt. It's like math, right? Negative of a negative number is positive. So here, she double denied, so it's in effect accepting the guilt, okay? Or admitting the guilt, sorry. Accepting is, guilt is not a concrete noun which you can accept. It's admitting the guilt. Next, Duterte could impose a revolutionary government if he were strong enough as a leader. I got you here. I tricked you into selecting where as the wrong answer. In fact, 48 of you got the trap that I've set up. So you think that he is singular. So by the application of SVA, where should read as was singular, past tense, right? Wrong. The answer is no error, because in this statement, we have the word, where is that? If. See? This is what we call the conditionals. Duterte could impose a revolutionary government if he were strong enough as a leader. This is the second conditionals, meaning if you're using a second conditional, they are hypothetical. They are not reality right now. They are just hypothetical, that if Duterte were strong enough, if it's not yet true, then he could impose a revolutionary government, which is right now is also not true. Okay, so therefore, in a subjunctive mood or conditionals, singular subjects uses plural verbs. And usually they are in the past tense if they are in the subjunctive mood. So you do not say, if he was a boy, you always say if he were a boy, if she were a boy, okay, if she was a boy is not correct. You say, if she were a boy, I would have befriended him. See, something like that. Or if you're a girl, you wish that your best friend, your best BFF girlfriend is a boy, then you would say, if she were a boy, she would have been my boyfriend. See? If I say she would have been my boyfriend, that will be the third conditional. It's an expression of, regret. So if we change, in our conditional, if we change the tenses of our verbs, then the meaning of the statement also changes. So here, guys, no error. And since you're always confused with the subjunctive mood, let's discuss that. I think I have a lot of questions. Pag po may if na nasa subjunctive mood, automatic po na ganun in all cases was where, yes, it's automatic. Even singular verbs will use plural are, and then you will put it into the past tense. If he were you, if Duterte were, religious, then we would have a better Philippines. So they all, even if singular, they use plural verbs and it's in the past tense. Okay, always remember that. Of course, for plural subjects in the subjunctive mood, they also use plural verbs. But singular subjects in the subjunctive mood, they also or still use plural verbs. That's where the confusion is. Okay, and that is where many examiners will get you. Okay, if you will just apply SBA, that's what is inside your head always, then you will commit this mistake. Okay, not being able to detect a subjunctive mood. So let's review. What are subjunctive mood? Yes, we have other questions. Let's entertain that. I wish he were here now. See, that's a subjunctive mood. I wish he were here now. Okay, and that's a correct grammar. Let's say I wish he was here now. Because if you say that, then the boy will not go there because he will be turned off by your wrong grammar. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So how do we determine if we will not follow SBA because it's subjunctive? So there are 4 forms of the subjunctive. So if it were a wish or a statement that is not true, okay, or it's in a form of a command, then do not follow SBA. Even singular subjects can take plural verbs. What are those 4 forms? Wishes, okay, so look for the word wish. If there's a wish in the statement, then singular subjects can take plural verbs. What else? Hypothetical, meaning it's not yet the reality now. You know, you're just saying, paano kaya kung ganun? Right? What if? Paano kaya kung ganyan? So if you're in that mood, na paano kaya kung niligawan ko siya, then use singular verbs, use singular nouns or subjects, use plural verbs. Okay. What if Kojik were a Japanese princess? Would she have joined us? See, Kojik is singular, but I will use were a Japanese princess. Oh, we have a lot of questions. No, they are just expressions. And then what else? Hypothetical, advice. So if I'm advising or I'm giving a command, this is the time we use the subjunctive in the present tense. Remember, if it's a wish or hypothetical, use plural verb always, whether singular or plural subjects, but in the past tense. But if it's a command or an advice, you use present tense. I suggest that you see a doctor immediately. You here can be singular or plural. But if I use the third person like he or she, I suggest that he see a doctor immediately, or I suggest that you see that she see a doctor immediately. Those are still correct. Okay, you might be tricked that he see SBA wrong. Should be he sees or she sees. Then you will be making a mistake if that will be your reasoning. Remember, there's the word suggest, meaning it's in the subjunctive form. Or if I have the expression, it is essential that Tricia go to the hospital. So Tricia is singular, but I will not use that Tricia goes to the hospital. Even if singular subjects, you still use plural verb. Again, do not follow SBA in a subjunctive mood. Command. Duterte commanded that Tricia wear face mask. So do not say Duterte commanded that Tricia wears face mask. That is not correct. Okay. So see, if I were you, wear plural, or what else? If I were, and that if I was. Remember, if we are in the indicative mood, if I could say I am.
Sir, meron po mga questions sa chat.
Oh, okay. Let me check on that. Duterte could have. Yes, Duterte could have is also correct, depending on the mood that you want to convey. Remember, subjunctive mood is about giving you a mood of wish or command or regret. Okay, if you want to use Duterte could have, then you are expressing the mood of regret. Okay, you can review the. You can Google. Anyway, it's just a very short discussion of the first, second, and third conditionals of the subjunctive mood. When will you use the present tense? When will you use the simple past tense? And when will you use the perfect tense? So again, if you use the perfect tense, then it's an expression of regret. If I had reviewed for the exam, I would have passed upkat. See, I'm using the perfect tense and the perfect passive, then it's an expression of regret. Okay, but if it's just a statement of probability, if I review today, I will pass upkat, then that's just a simple statement of probability. Okay, but if I say if I had reviewed 6 months ago, I would have passed upkat, then that's a statement of regret. But those are, again, guys, in the present tense, but we are using past tense to indicate mood. We are not using past tense to indicate when the time happened, because those things are hypothetical events that is not true at present. You guys get it? Sir, random question. When you were preparing for the sets po, how long did you study po? It might sound boastful, but when I take upkat, I did not study, because when you graduate from Philippine Science High School, it's you will be overconfident. Even the DOST, when we take the DOST, we did not review, because the course that we have in Philippine Science High School main it's very intensive. It's like you're reviewing for your set since first year high school, second year, third year, fourth year. So when it comes to college, we just take it easy. Sir, pwede ba kita dalasan? Sorry, I didn't get it. Sir, papunas po ng panyo. All right, let's go back. It may sound a little bit confusing, but if you see a lot of examples, especially if you search online, there will be a lot of discussions about subjunctive mood. But for now, just remember, if you see the word like this, all right, here's the list. If you see the word ask, demand, insist, move, propose, recommend, suggest, or the phrase it is advisable, it is necessary, then singular subjects can take plural verbs. Then it means you do not follow SBA. Of course, plural subjects will follow plural verbs. So we have no problem with that. But even singular verbs, like I propose, Roselle, eat right now. So Roselle, eat right now, if it's in the indicative mood, or if it's the reality, then it's not correct when we are referring to SBA. But Roselle eats right now, that's truth, meaning Roselle is now eating, right? Roselle eats right now. She is eating. That's the reality. But if it's in the subjunctive mood, I propose that Roselle eat right now. It's not yet reality. I just proposed it. But it does not mean that it is already happening. You guys get it? That's why we do not follow SBA in the subjunctive mood, because they are not yet expressions of reality. So that's basically the reason we do not apply SBA in subjunctive. Okay. Also, lest, if you see lest, like take care lest the mechanics charge you more. Again, here it does not follow SBA rule. So I could have just one mechanic. Let me, it is not, although that's also correct, mechanics, plural, so charge, also plural, that's correct, but it will not confuse you. So in order for you to be confused, or if I'm the examiner and I want to confuse you, I will make this singular. Take care lest the mechanic charge you more. So you will fall for the trap. You will say the error is charge, should be charges. The mechanic charges, SBA rules. Okay, and then you fall for the trap, but this is actually no error. This is still correct because of the word lest. Lest is also a subjunctive identifier, meaning the mechanic is not yet charging you more. Okay, it's just hypothetical that if you're not careful, then this statement may happen. You get it? If it's indicative, meaning it's already a reality, then I apply the SBA. The mechanic charges you more, meaning it's a reality. It happened already. Okay, but again, with the word lest, it's hypothetical. It has not happened yet. It will only happen if you are not careful.
Sir, excuse me po, may break time po ba?
Sure. Since this is a very confusing, since this is a nosebleed subject, let's have a 10-minute break. Sounds good? So
Yes, sir. Thank you po.
sure. So it's 4:05, 10 minutes. So to clear your heads because of this subjunctive mood. Let me just hold on. Let me just check if this is the last slide for the subjunctive, and then we can move to the next. All right. Yes. So this is the last slide for the subjunctive mood. So we may take a 15-minute break. It's 4:05. Get back at 4:15. All right. All right. So we left the keywords that you should be looking for. Words such as lest, ask, demand, insist, move, propose, recommend, suggest, and the phrase, it is advisable, it is necessary, okay? So whenever you see singular verbs taking singular nouns taking plural verbs, then you might think there's a mistake because it's not following SBA. But again, in subjunctive mood, they do not follow SBA, okay? Why? Why not? No, what I'm it's sort of to differentiate it from the indicative mood, wherein when we are talking about indicative mood, it means to say that what we are saying is the reality or is already happening, okay? For example, I created some example. There you go. It's not here earlier. Subjunctive mood test. So how do we test whether it's okay to not follow SBA? First, you check if, or you ask the sentence, is it true already? Okay, you ask that, totoo na ba? Totoo na ba ito? Like in the example, if she eat choco chips, I would buy her that. You might ask yourself, totoo na ba na kumakain siya ng choco chips? And the answer to that is no. Okay, in fact, you will not be making this statement if she is already eating choco chips. In fact, in this statement, imagine, let's take a guy, Elmer Kahele. So let's imagine Elmer is going to court Althea. Okay, so Elmer is thinking, if Althea eat choco chips, I will buy her that. So if you qualify this statement, is it true already? Not yet, because Elmer is not yet buying Althea choco chips. Yeah, it's what we call the first conditional. Like Elmer is planning, nagpaplano, or may balak manligaw. See, that's the analogy there. So in my first conditional, subjunctive mood, nagbabalak pa lang pero hindi pa. Hindi pa totoo. You guys get it? That's why here, if she eat choco chips, I will buy her that. She is singular, but the verb following it is in the plural form because it's in the subjunctive mood. We do not follow SBA if the statement is not yet true. In this case, the statement is Althea eating choco chips. Okay, it's not yet true in this conditional. Then someone asked, why not use would have been or use the passive perfect? We could also use that, but then the mood or what the statement mean will change. For example, in the second conditional, I will use a different verb tense. Here I will use, if she ate choco chips, so now I use past tense, she would be prettier now. Because there's a study that there's I think a chemical in chocolate that makes a girl bloom with a shinier skin, something like that. So here on the second conditional, we use a different tense. In the first conditional, you use a present tense, right? But in the second conditional, you use a simple past tense. So you use, if she ate choco chips, she would be prettier now. And that is also correct. But then the mood changes. Here, the mood is pasiguro, right? That you will only eat choco chips if it will make you pretty. But it's not yet true. That's why this is also in the subjunctive mood. It's not real. In the past, she did not eat choco chips. That's why right now, pangit pa rin siya. Right now. And she didn't eat choco chips kasi pasiguro, because she's you know, thinking, I might eat choco chips and harm my teeth and I will not get pretty. So in the past, she did not do it. You get it? So that's the second conditional. And on the third conditional, when you use the perfect tense, in the if statement, you use the active voice perfect tense, and then in the then statement, you use the passive perfect tense. Then again, here the mood will change. If she had eaten choco chips, she would have been prettier now. Now, in this time, when I use the word have as what was asked earlier, what will be the meaning? The meaning will be entirely different. In the second conditional, pasiguro ka pa lang. But in the third conditional, nagsisisi ka na. You get it? You're thinking, sayang. Kung kumain ako nung bata ako ng chocolate, siguro ang ganda-ganda ko na ngayon. That's how we say it. Subjunctive is when we are saying siguro. Okay, or sana all. Oh, there you go. So if you some of you are having trouble with subjunctive, it's the sana all mood. Na let's say Rose passed upkat, and then everyone will say sana all. So it's not true that everyone passed upkat, but everyone is wishing that the statement becomes truth. Okay. So again, guys, whenever you face subjunctive mood, it does not follow SVA. So even if you see a singular verb like she or he, and then it's followed by a plural, a singular subject, he or she, and then it's followed by a plural verb, it's okay. It's in the subjunctive, no need to follow SVA. Clear? Tapos na ba ang nosebleed? Now I get it why someone want to wipe his or her nose. Because of the nosebleed. Nakakaganda pala pag kumain ng choco chips. That's just a wish. Okay, again, it's not in the indicative mood, so it's not true. Okay, so we wish, but if you will Google, there's a study regarding chocolates that it really makes a woman not only happy but also more beautiful. So guys, manliligaw. I've heard may mga nagliligawan dito. Don't forget to send your chocolates. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next question. I hope that clarifies subjunctive. I know it's confusing because it will go against your common sense to always use singular verb when you encounter singular noun or pronoun. But here you find out that it's not all the time. If it's not yet true, sana all ka pa lang, then singular verb in the subjunctive mood still use plural, singular noun or pronoun still use plural verbs. There's the confusion. Next, the passengers in the bus were hysterical after a raging truck had almost sideswiped them on the road. No error is what most of you answered here. And there's a mistake on the first preposition, in the bus, okay? I want you to remember this, guys, because this is also one of the favorite when I'm teaching in LET, when they are doing the review in the licensure examination for teachers. And then my students will later approach me after they pass. They become licensed professional teacher. They would say, sir, buti na lang tinuro mo yung in the bus, on the bus, because it appears on the exam. And I think 3 times they told me that this, or 3 different students told me that this happened in the LET exam. So it might also happen to you because it's a favorite. So always remember this, guys. You may just memorize it because we do not have application or local application of this. We just use sa. kami nasa bus, nasa tricycle, nasa kalabaw. It's always sa. But in the English language, you have to check if you can stand on the transportation, then you use on. So you are on a bus, you can stand on a bus. You are on a plane, you are on a train, on a ship, on a tram. On a bike, you cannot stand on a bike, but if you say you're in a bike, it means you're inside the frame, okay? So this is an exception. Now, you say you're in if you cannot stand inside the transportation, like a car. I'm in a car, in a taxi, I'm in a limo, and I'm in a truck. Even though you can stand inside the baggage compartment of the truck, but here you're referring to, you know, what's in front, you know, the front of the truck. When you ride it, you cannot stand there. It has a very low roof, just like a car. Okay, so you use in the truck. Okay, but do not say in the motorcycle. It means if you say in the motorcycle, it means you're inside the engine, or I'm in the carabao. You're inside the stomach of the carabao. Okay, so things like that, you go back to on. I'm on the bicycle, on a motorcycle, on a carabao. Okay, that's those are the things you should remember. So the error here is the passengers on the bus. So it should be on the bus. And I want you to remember that, guys. It you know, 80% of the time it will appear on your CET. Next, after the students had finished their English lessons, they had started chatting to one another. And I see here that most of you got the correct answer. Majority, that's 55% of the respondents answered had started. It means that you are paying attention when I discuss the module, the verb tenses. Remember this. So you only mention the past perfect on the first event. On the succeeding event, you now use the simple tenses. So if it's in the past, first event, past perfect, she had eaten, and then the next event should just be in the simple past. Okay, like this one. You have past perfect had finished. So this one, the second event, should just be simple past. They started chatting. Okay, so had started here is wrong. If you're confused with this question, kindly review my video. By the way, I'm in YouTube. Subscribe and watch for your own good the lessons that we have, so you could, you know, refresh your memories. All right, Magellan and Lapu-Lapu fought each other fiercely on the island of Mactan on April 27, 1521. So we have discussed the in, on, at. So on April 27, that's correct, because if it's a day or a date or a holiday, we use on. On the island of Mactan, 22 of you thought this is the incorrect part, because we have discussed the area. If it's a big area, like in the Philippines, in the municipality or in the city of Cabaratuan, in the barangay Santa Cruz, you always use in. But an island, even if it's big enough, containing several municipalities, you still use on. That's one of the exceptions, okay? Even if an island is bigger than a barangay, could be composing bigger than a municipality even, you still use on. Okay, so it's on the island of Mactan is still correct. 17 said on April 27 is wrong. It's right. It's actually correct because it's a date. Again, day or date is you use on. Let me just check the chat. If anyway, if it's important, you may just you know, unmute and then say something. All right, so again, exceptions for at, on, in. Remember we said year, weeks, months, you use in. But if it's a day, like Monday, Tuesday, up to Sunday, it's on, or it's a date, December 25, or a holiday, Christmas Eve, Christmas, you use on. But part of a day, we use in, like in the morning, in the afternoon, and night, even if there's no specific time. Remember, at is only used if it's a specific time, like 12:35 or noon, because noon is equal to just saying 12 p.m. Okay, or eve, which is equivalent to saying 12 a.m. But there are times when we use at to refer to time, even if it is composed of like, let's say 12 hours of night. So if we refer to the entire night, we just say at night. Okay. There are expressions like in the night, but it has a different meaning. Okay. It means during one particular night. You're referring to a time duration. Okay. Like I was born in the night of December 25, meaning your mother takes the entire night in labor. Okay. So it's referring to the duration. What else? Or like here, we slept in a tent, but I woke up in the night. So in the duration of sleeping, you woke up. And then when it comes to weekends, we use at, even though its weekends are 2 days, right? So we say at the weekends. American English will use on the weekend, even though it's also more than a day, because Saturday, Sunday, those are weekends. Should be in the weekend, right? But again, this is part of the exceptions. On holiday, so I went there on Monday morning. So if there's a day in there, like Monday, Tuesday, you use on, even if it's just part of the day. But if there's no proper name of the day, like you just say in the morning, then use in. Okay. Come with us on Saturday night. Again, there's a proper noun for day, so you use on. We get our presents on Christmas morning. So even if this is morning, we should be using in, but there's the word, hey, Christmas. Christmas is one day holiday. So you still use on. And also, same is true with place. There are exceptions, which we were not able to tackle before because we're in a hurry. So if it's a small island, like Maui, or in the Philippines, like Catanduanes or Masbate, the one that, that was hit by a magnitude 7 or earthquake, then you use on. Okay. Of course, if it's a very big island like Luzon, then we say in Luzon. Okay. Let's say on Luzon, only a small island. Okay. And when we're referring to directions, on the left, on the right. Okay. And then we have the on a bus. If it's a transportation and you can stand on it, you use on. And then information, when we are receiving information via electronic means, then we use on. At, we have at home, at work, at school, at university, at college, even if it's not a specific house numbered address, these are exceptions. Okay. I hope that will refresh your our discussion on preposition. Next number. The number of students in UP have increased every year since free tuition in all state universities was implemented in 2018. And most of you, or the majority, have gotten it correctly. Have. All right, this is the confusing part. When you have this identifier, the number of, this becomes the subject, because the here is the determiner, and determiner comes before a noun, which is usually the subject of the sentence. So here the number, singular, we're referring to the number as the subject, and it has increased. So do not say it have increased when you are referring to the number which is singular. Of students in UP, this is just an adjective phrase describing the number. Number of what? So it's the number of students. But I am still referring to just one value. So probably this year the number is 8,000. Remember our measurements of time, even if it's more than one, it's still just singular. So same here, that number 8,000, it's singular, it's the value. And then next year it becomes 20,000 due to free tuition, then it has increased, still singular, okay? Now the confusion here is this one, a number and the number, okay? The number here is always singular, but when you use an indefinite article, a number of, then the subject will follow the what comes after a number, okay? Because here a number, it's no longer acting as a determiner. You will learn that probably when you take English as your major. But for now, I just want you to just memorize this. A number of, that's plural, but if you see the number of, that's singular. Just a quick, for those who are curious, the number here, this is the determiner, and this is your subject number, which is singular. But here, a number of students, a number is, or a number of is your predeterminer, and the null indefinite article, so there's no article, that is your determiner, and students is your subject. So a number of students, students is the subject, which is plural. There you go. But do not have a nosebleed regarding that. For now, I would advise you just memorize, because that will take higher English in order to understand. Next, we receive much information on the internet and in the printed modules of the school. All right, on our lessons on preposition, we use in if it's on printed material, in the printed materials, and we use on if the information is via electronic. So this is correct, in the printed materials. So one is not listening when I discuss that, source of information. The incorrect part here is informations with S. Information is a mass noun, therefore you cannot pluralize it. It is always singular. So 56% got this correctly. 25 or 32% said no error. Again, information cannot take S, because they are uncountable nouns. There you go. So they are uncountable or mass nouns that refers to substances, concepts, information, materials, and they are not counted as individual objects. Therefore, we call them non-count, okay? Same with milk. Of course, you cannot count milk because it's liquid, but sugar or rice, you can count, but just try. It's like thousands. So we end up basically not counting them anymore. So they are non-count. Same with bread. Bread is considered a non-count, okay? If you want to quantify bread, then you use quantifiers like loaves of bread or pieces of bread. But just bread alone, it's non-count. Concepts, whole, piece, again, do not pluralize it. Do not say pieces, okay? Feelings and qualities, again, non-count, like anger, joy. Let's say joys. By the way, beauty can be plural if you're referring to individual person, like the beauties in the pageant are all remarkable. Beauties there is referring to the contestants, okay? But here it's referring to the concept, so you cannot pluralize it. Then activities like homework or sports, like a basketball, do not make it plural. Okay, they are non-count. Next, Sir Nathan has used 13 new effective learning presentations to teach clearly at home in the afternoon. And many said there's no error, okay? Like 60%. If you're not careful, it's hard to find an error here because the error here is in the ordering, okay? The ordering, you have to check the ordering of your adjectives. There are 3 that describes presentations, right? New, then effective, and then learning. Then we also have 3 adjectives that describes the verb teach, which is the adverb of manner, clearly. We also have the adverb of place, at home. And then we also have the adverb of time, in the afternoon. So in the ordering of adverb, it's correct. Remember, first mention manner, and then place, and then last is the time, okay? But here in the adjective, it does not follow the nos kak pom, because new here is age. Effective is opinion, because what is effective to me might not be effective on the part of the other. So this is an opinion. And learning is the purpose. So learning will always come before the noun it modifies, because in the nos kak pom, others say it dos kak pom. So instead of number, they say determiner, which is just still the number, okay? The last P there is the purpose. Here it's learning. Now, opinion effective should be the first to be mentioned because it follows it follows right after the number. So you have 13. This is the number. Remember, nos kak pom, number or opinion, size, shape, condition, age. What else? Color. Next to color is pattern, origin, material, type, and then purpose. So effective should follow the number, and then opinion. And then new will come before learning because new is the age or the description of age. Remember the lessons that we have? Number, opinion, size, shape. So number is 13, opinion is effective, age is new, purpose is learning materials. So that's where you got the incorrect answer. The word effective there is misplaced. And that ends our very long, so we will have, it's 6 p.m. We will have a 10-minute break. And when we get back, we will tackle comprehension. So the last module. And before I end this presentation, I will leave you with a saying, what you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make, from Jane Goodall. All right? So guys, take your break. I will not end the session yet. So 10-minute break. Be back at 6:10 p.m. All right, guys?